All right. Welcome to the channel. This is Clarity Empress, the Empress of Clarity. And today we're going to do a little something different. Today we're going to talk about these Neptune transits. Now, the reason why I'm talking about the Neptune transit is because I feel like it's a major shift going on where it's like the spiritual meets reality. It's kind of like a clash that creates a fog that gets lifted. You know, we always talk about the veil is thin, right, between worlds, and you know, people's psychic gifts are, increasing, but there's a reason for that, and I feel like it has a lot to do with the Neptune transits. You have to take it how it resonates. You do your own research. But I'm just going to share with you some of the things I learned about this transit. So, one, where's the transits at? Now, Neptune. Neptune is a planet of transcendence, intuition, compassion, spirituality, and hey, Tuesday, it can travel you through your chart and bring about profound changes. The areas of life that Neptune influences include spirituality, creativity, imagination, and intuition. So, you know, Neptune rules that delusional energy too, because your imagination can fly into so many different areas and you could be thinking so many different things, right? But it also brings a greater sense of connection to the collective consciousness and the divine. So there's no major transit because Neptune takes 164 years to go to transit the Earth or something like that, or our solar system. I can't remember which one it is. But they said currently, let's see, Neptune entered Pisces in 2012, in February 2012. So right now, my Neptune is still in Pisces after 13 years. Neptune will enter Aries next year. So we're at the end of the Pisces transit when it comes to Neptune. All right. So what is it saying? As far as the dates are concerned, we're talking July 2nd, 2024. It retrogrades in Pisces, and then it ends its retrograde in Pisces December 7th. Right? Then enters Aries the following March. All right. So why am I talking about this? Because some of the readings from me and others and people have heard about are really, really taking a turn. Because people who are once delusional, they can't, it's like they want to cling to denial, but they can't. Because life is going to kick your behind if you hold on to denial. If you sit there and think, I am not going to leave my little comfy cold, I'm going to believe this lie that I've been living, even though all the signs are there, if you try to take that stance during this transit, you're going to be broken wide open, okay? You are not going to be able to survive this transit in denial, period. Hey, Monica. All right, so when I was doing my research, my Google research, y'all, because I'm not an astrologer, but I do follow. Right? I got hit with this one person. Her name is Maria Di Simone. And the title of her article is Neptune Transits Hope Floats. I gotta read some of this article because this is exactly the energy that I've been picking up on in my last few readings. As a matter of fact, I titled one and I used a card from this deck. And this deck is for your FYI. was gifted to me, Star Codes Astro Oracle. All right. I started picking up on this Neptunian energy. And I'm like, I'm not an astrologer, but I know this is Neptune. So this particular astrologer, I need to read some of the excerpts that she says. So I'm not claiming I know this is me, okay? She says, a while back, I was doing a great deal of reflection on the planet Neptune. Someone close to me was going through transiting Neptune in the sky, opposing his Venus, while simultaneously being conjunct his ascendant. He was suffering. He was lost and confused. For the first time in his tightly controlled life, he had truly let love in. So, what was the problem? He had done this in such an all consuming way that he had suffered total identity loss in the process. Love made him crazy. He had to succumb to a personal breakdown to reveal an open heart. And once his heart was so open, so vulnerable, he didn't know how to cope. He was swimming in the ocean of Neptune. And that at that very moment, Neptune was swallowing him whole. He was flooded with feelings. Now, what else she said? She said, what I wish he could have seen, however, is that although he may have been broken, he was not destroyed. In fact, it was only the shell of our physical self defenses that were blown apart during a difficult Neptune transit. What is dissolved is that chunk that keeps us most disconnected from our soul. What really happens underneath all of the erosion is that when Neptune crashes into your horoscope, you are broken open. The soul is exposed in a way that deregulates it from the physical being. Why? Because being vulnerable is not comfortable for us silly mortals. But Neptune has this way of dissolving every wall we build up or try to. This isn't a bad thing. In fact, the entire point of a Neptune transit is to get us closer to divinity in some way. Neptune is in its most beautiful expression is spiritual awakening. This is what I've been picking up on, y'all. The ability to unconditionally love and to absolve oneself of any feelings of guilt and disappointment so that we can focus on the light, our light. Son, I got a reading that's being shown right now. But this is the energy. So this particular article made me pause. I was like, I don't even want to summarize this. I need to read this so y'all understand what's happening. Because some of y'all Tuesday people can pick up on what I'm saying. Okay. It says, life is a maze, the next section. I remember several years ago when I experienced transiting Neptune square my sun, vitality and self, and Mercury, mind communication. I never felt so lost and confused in my entire life. That had I just lost it. Hold on. In my entire life. Everything that had defined my structured world up until that point suddenly evaporated into the ethers. It was as if I had been informed that the life I had been living was a grand illusion. Um, but I couldn't believe it at that time. I tried to choose the delusion because I convinced myself it was safer. And this is the part of Neptune that we are dealing with right now. People's delusions are coming apart at the seams. And and even though what they had felt comfortable and it was safe, it's really not. And it's all dissipating. It's a veil just going thin. The irony of that time period is that while I lost my former existence, typical of difficult Neptune transit, it was the process of losing all that I thought I treasured that helped me get closer to my soul. The more I leaned on my faith, the more I was comforted. And indeed, the advice I was given by colleagues during that time was to let go and let God. This is classic Neptune. Whoever is in that space where their world is crumbling down. Everything that they doing, it ain't working because it ain't meant to be. I literally was talking to somebody tonight. I was picking up some things for my nonprofit, and we got to talking on some stuff we hadn't talked about in a long time. You know, we know each other well. And I was saying that, you know, somebody in particular, they seem like that she knew of. I said I don't think they invite trouble into their life, but they feel it seems like they are a bad luck magnet. Bad luck just seems to find them. Gave her a couple examples. She said no, and she described it just like this. She said it's not that they're a bad luck magnet, it's just they're in the wrong place. They're not where they are is not where they're supposed to be. I was like, you ain't lying. Now, oh, why is it not scrolling? Hold on, y'all. Oh, page unresponsive. Oh, wait. Why? I can't get it. All right. What's the problem? Oh, unresponsive. You know, oh, what the hell the problem is. All right. So, the title of this article is Hope Floats. Neptune Transit Hope Floats. I don't know why it's not letting me move. It's on tarot.com, but I'm going to put the link in the description after the reading so you can go right to it. Now she goes on to talk about body and mind. Neptune transits not only open you up spiritually, but they also open you up psychically. You might be overwhelmed with your capacity to be empathic, or to have precognitive knowing. The key to successful harnessing this wave of sensitivity is to give it a place in your world. For me, let me see if I can cut and paste this article. Well, now I need to finish this right here, y'all. Let's see. What the heck is the problem? Enter. Oh. All right, go. What the hell is wrong with this thing? Hi, Asito. You know, are we in the beginning of Mercury retrograde? We gotta be. We got to be. It's the only thing that's making sense right now. Let me get out of that. Hold on, y'all, because this is aggravating me. And I need to finish this because her article is dead on. Let me pull it up on my phone. All right. So, where was I? Damn ads. Life is a maze. Let me do that. Yes. So, body, okay. You might be overwhelmed with your capacity to be empathic or to have precognitive knowing. The key to successfully, harnessing this wave of sensitivity is to give it a place in your world. For me, it was during those Neptune transits that I lost my former self, but became a professional astrologer. I even did a research study and lectured on astrological indicators of psychic ability in the horoscope. I was broken as a person for sure, but during those years, but the universe knew I needed to break open that part of me that wasn't serving my spirit, my soul, and my soul's purpose was underneath the structures that my ego had built. These structures suffocate your soul, and the universe tends to deliver a Neptune transit. Boy, And I'm gonna have to do a contrast to this with oh no, then we in the shadow period already, 2 weeks of before, because Lord have mercy. But this is given like a precursor to what we would be dealing with, or afterthought of what we'd be dealing with, a Saturn transit. So I'm gonna get into that in a different live. But this one here, she said, and so it was also with the man who I love dearly. I know he could see this for himself, but because when you're drowning in your Neptune transit, clarity often remains elusive. All I could do was counsel him to keep the faith. The events in his life that were happening may make him feel as if he had lost himself, but it was actually the opposite. Neptune erodes what it must, so that we can be vulnerable and open enough to actually find our true self, the self that connects our soul and and to the divine. True Neptunes cast a fog over us, but when the fog is lifted, we see clearly. We need the fog to allow time for that divine intervention. Are you also going through a difficult Neptune transit? Even when you're sinking, faith doesn't have to. Let hope float. I was like, this right here is it. And that reading I just did before I read this, where it seemed like there was a pause to return, but then it had to be a pause to return because they're in the challenge, in the lesson energy was a metamorphosis. And I was like, yo, somebody is clearly going through major shifts and changes. And this is what I'm saying is like, okay, you know me, I occasionally have these readings where it just like it works, right? It all turns out well, but there is some difficulty that precedes what turns out well. So this is given as somebody, whatever they're transiting through with this Neptune energy, wherever their placements are, they are majorly impacted. Oh, make sure you do not have that in your bedroom charger, because it could burn. It can get hot in your bed. Not that, the phone. Oh, okay. And I, so when Neptune transits hit you, I feel like that's when you are truly hitting that spiritual awakening vibe. Like you start to see the world different. You start to have certain questions that didn't, they didn't occur to you before. For me, I would have to go look back into my astrological transit, but I feel like mine started in 2019 or somewhere around there, because that was the first time I picked up a tarot deck. And then I never put one down after that. I started looking into it more. I started thinking, well, damn, I need these answers. I started to feel like I was connected more to my spiritual self, even though I felt that connection, even though my intuition was strong, my communication with my ancestors was strong, but it was something about tapping in this way. And then also, by 2020, I was dishing out some sample readings, and it was like, wow, I do have a precognitive knowing situation going on here. I do have a clear sentient. I do have a clear, cognizance about things. And it started to open me up. Now my sensitivities are stronger and still presenting themselves to me, right? So I feel like, based on the readings I've been getting, it's almost like many divine feminines, and it does not mean you are a woman, but many divine feminines have already started their spiritual awakening, especially those with potential twin flame masculines, right? And then the masculine is in the middle of their beginning, or I don't even know how you would phase it, because I don't think I got the proper words for it, but it's like they're not at the level where the divine feminine is. Like their journey started before. They're now kind of playing catch up. But it's kind of like the laws of nature. They always say how young ladies mature faster than young men, right? So this is kind of like that same type of maturity, yet it's spiritual. It's like the women are maturing and standing their ground and creating their boundaries and protecting their spiritual selves. And then you got the masculines that are over here like, wait a minute, I need to do that too. That, you taking a spiritual bath? I need a spiritual bath. Like they now like, wait a minute, that sounds like something I need. And they're not as resistant to it because whatever they got, whatever their construct of their life, is starting to fall apart. Like I said to the lady, I said, well, I feel like bad luck is impacting that person. She said, no, it's because that person is not where they're supposed to be. So until they are broken open, really, until they understand these things are going to continue to occur for me and get worse for me until I stop resisting and stop trying to control my life and my outcome to the point where I want to stay in denial, it's going to get worse. Until they do it, until they put in the work and the effort into themselves, it's going to get worse. Makes me wonder if it would be flipped in our society as is that a what if, or you think it should? Because I really think that right now, um, it is more of the feminine energy on the planet is the one that is doing the awakening. Just because they mature faster, the sensitivities in a feminine energy, they're more intuitive naturally. It's not that the masculine is not intuitive, it's just they don't rely on that gift. I don't know. I kind of like, I don't do too many if it was. I'm not that kind of person in that way. I like to deal with what is. And what we are dealing with right now is that the feminines, the ones that are called, chosen to really awaken, are starting to see their gifts and starting to deal with them accordingly. Whereas the masculines, I feel, are really starting to, because I think that spiritual awakening for a feminine that causes her to stand her ground and separate from the masculine. And I don't mean like, okay, a lot of these readings that come up, the masculine is the one that walked away. They walked away. They walked away, right? But it was the feminine strength that allowed them to walk away without interference. Go learn your lessons. Go be you. Go be great in whatever way that is. Whereas maybe in the past, before she was really fully into her spiritual awakening, she probably has some resistance to that. The control, not really surrendering, not letting go, kind of like, wait, don't go back, don't leave, don't whatever, right? She would interfere. Well, when you realize, okay, allow that person to go be what it is that they want, whether it's to be great or to be bad, it don't matter. Let them go do what they need to do. It's almost like they kind of get like, when they realize who you are to them, and usually they go find, you know how they say fuck around and find out. They usually go out, fuck around and find out. Oh, then that all the things that the divine feminine was trying to show them, trying to tell them, all of those things start flooding back. And I feel like on top of the choices that they made, what happens to the choices that they made, all bring all of that stuff full circle back to the divine masculine. I can't really say that we're far from a matriarchal society. I'll say that. But the masculines are now I feel, in catch up mode. That almost like a rush to get back to what it is that they love because it really broke them open. When you have something and you take it for granted and then you lose it and you realize the value of it, it changes you. It is something that changed. And I say it because it doesn't have to be a relationship. It could be, I don't know, you had a, for example, you had a vintage, mm, let's say you had a vintage basketball, right? And that ball was sturdy. That ball didn't warp. It held its air right all the time. It felt good in your palm. You were able to shoot it all the time. It was just, and it was so rare that people couldn't find it on the shelf no more. Because that's what we're dealing with now too. Scarcity. You can't find it. So you have it, right? But then one day somebody swipes your ball. Your ball gone. You might know who has it, but you don't have it no more. You go to the store, you start looking, you're trying to replace it. And a lot of times in these relationships, people are going trying to replace people in these relationships. They be trying to go say, well, let me go see what so-and-so got. And they go and they find ain't nothing like that ball I had. Nothing about it like that ball. Then they start to grieve the fact that they don't have it because whatever they replaced it with, it don't bounce the same. It don't hold air the same. It just is plastic. It don't have leather. It's just no. It won't ever be what you had. And this person is. I feel like I say this person. It's the divine masculine going through this. Excuse me. And I feel like they are the ones starting to recognize their value of their personal divine feminine. This is not because there aren't other divine feminines. It's just they will never have that one that had the perfect air, that had the perfect bounce, that didn't warp, that didn't, you know what I'm saying? Somebody was 10 toes down with them. So during these Neptunian transits, and I would encourage you to look at your horoscope, excuse me, to see where it is right now, because again, Neptune is in Pisces right now. It's not headed to Aries until next March, but we are on the tail end of it because it's been in that transit for 13 years. I'm sorry, since 2012. If that's it'll be 13 years next year. So ultimately, what is impacted in your life right now? Because it is something about this particular transit that has the divine masculine in a chokehold. Because right now, they don't know if they're coming or going. They're the calamities and the things that they have experienced or are experiencing are really showing them that your world is falling apart. What you know it as, you cannot maintain that. This is not a transit that you can wait for it to blow over. And no, this is a transit where you need to make a decision and go with your heart and see where spirit leads you. Like she said, let go and let God and let hope float, because this person needs to ride the wave of their emotions right now instead of resisting that. And anybody that's resisting it, the fate that you're gonna deal with, let me see. Let's see what else is who we got now. Kathy Rose. I don't know. Did I read this one? No, I did not. Hold on. So there are different transit, and like I said, I am not an astrologer, and I'll give you an example of what they say. And this is from Cafe Astrology. Neptune transit, sextile, or trine the sun. I am about to begin to explain that. I don't know. Neptune transit square or opposition to the sun. So, for example, I'm going to read this one. It says, you are more vulnerable now to influence and illusion. Self-deception may be your biggest enemy during this period of your life. And for some, deception from others might be a theme now. The body itself is sensitive, and you must be cautious with drugs. You may behave in an impractical manner, or you may be vulnerable to deception or betrayal from others. You may undergo a crisis of identity during the initial stages of this transit, and your experiences may lead you to a more refined understanding of yourself in the direction in which you want to head. This could be the time of illusions and confusion, or it can be a very inspired time, recognizing that you need more on a spiritual level that can help you handle the transition more constructively. So that goes back to what I was saying is what I picked up tarot and I didn't put it down because I needed more. I had things in a spiritual level, but tarot and oracle gave me more. So during this time, it says energy levels may be up, low, or up and down, and you may be more inclined towards laziness or passivity, just letting things happen without fighting back. You might miss out on opportunities because of this approach to life. Placing faith in something higher than you is one thing, but if taken too far, you might regret letting life pass you by one day. This is about people who don't take action, that sit there and say, well, I'm just, if it's meant to be, it's going to come fall in my lap, but you don't take any steps toward it. Do not let Neptune delude you into holding still and waiting on something to just magically land in your lap, because that's not how life works. Even when we manifest, when you intentionally manifest, there's certain actions you take, certain rituals, whether it's an affirmation, whether it's a actual ritual like writing on a bay leaf and then burning it, or writing something down and then burning it at the full moon. There was some action taking to get the opportunity. If you don't, anyway, it says you are more idealistic than usual, which can cause a few problems if you're not careful. You could be experiencing confusion about what you want from life, where you are headed, and how to go about satisfying your ego. I don't know if you saw this, depending on if you saw the previous reading. Um, or was this a reading, a pre-read? I think I don't know. I know I pulled some cards and I kept seeing pages, and in particular, the Page of Wands and the Page of Pentacles were in reverse. Well, what that indicated, Spirit was saying, is this person is very hasty about the decisions that they make, but they are also very confused about the direction that they're going to take. That's more this Neptunian energy, because this person is deluded as to what was the best. What should I do? They don't know. They know they should be doing something, but they don't know what they should be doing. It says you're more idealistic than usual, which can cause a few problems if you're not careful. You could be experiencing confusion. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, about how to satisfy your ego. Some of you might feel that you lost your edge or will fight and take action. Some will be avoiding responsibilities, which can negatively impact their lives. There's a reason behind this identity crisis. You are learning to let go of ego attachment. So people are having ego death, y'all. Your self-image is being reworked, and you're becoming more sensitive to a greater, perhaps more spiritual sense of purpose. So there's also Neptune moon transits. Let me tell you something. Astrology is really deep. It is not for the faint of heart. Um, it's not something I wanted to hold in my head completely. I really am interested in my personal chart and the chart of people close to me. But I feel like I'm being directed to tell y'all to take a look at your chart and take a look at your current transits to see what you might be experiencing. It will help you down the road have a deeper look into you. Okay, because I didn't even realize Neptune had moon transits, right? And it says Neptune and moon directly affect the feelings, the public image, and the personal popularity. Other people and things affected by Neptune are the mother, important women in the native's life, domestic life, and the home. So if Neptune transit is impacting your moon right now, those are some of the things that you're dealing with. When Neptune transits conjunct the moon, ambiguity surrounds your emotional and domestic life. You can be emotionally restless, but what is it that you actually want is hard to pinpoint. You're more sensitive than ever, and through the course of this transit, your emotional life opens up to incorporate more refined, subtle, and understated perceptions. It's like you're in tune and you pick up far more from your environment than usual. In fact, this can feel very much like emotional commotion until you accept that the essential purpose of this transit is to open up your feelings in order for you to ultimately become more compassionate, emotionally aware, and devoted. So, listen, if people are experiencing a tower moment right now in their environment, the spirit wants you to pick up on that and not fawn. You know, we have fight, flight, freeze, and fawn, right? Fawn is that energy of laying down, just taking it and just waiting for the storm to pass, acting like as if you're dead. You don't even react to it. But this Neptune energy is more about you picking up on that and acting accordingly. It's not about you cannot fawn in this energy and just stay there. That's not, because you will never see life the same again. It don't work like that. You will not see your life the same. It says, as emotional pipelines open up and the emotional walls come down, you can become more vulnerable to deception. Your ability to discriminate is compromised simply because Neptune's energy lacks definition and boundaries. Some measure of caution is advised. So there, let me just read on. Some unusual or unexpected problems with the mother, important women in your life, and or your domestic life may occur during the course of this transit. This is what Neptune transiting or conjunct your moon. There can be health issues that are psychosomatic in nature or hard to diagnose, although they're generally not serious. Your dreams are likely to become more vivid and you can be quite susceptible to mood swings. What does the moon rule in your chart? Look at the houses of your natal chart with Cancer on the cusp for the area of your life where Neptune is acting to refine. Look at the planets and Cancer in your chart to see other parts of your personality that Neptune is now infusing with spirituality and sensitivity. So let's just say your Neptune. Let me see, where is mine? Let's put it this way. If your Neptune is in the Cancer area, right? And it's also, let's say, in Jupiter, it's impacting your luck and your abundance. You know, that like those two things off the rip, how your finances. So if that is impacting you that way, so that means difficulty with important women in your life, or unexpected problems with the mother, or and then your finances are all tied in. So the mother energy could be impacting how you earn. It could be the way they raised you and said, this is how you go earn. And the way to direct, or the direction basically that they gave you. Or it could be they're causing problems in your life currently every time you have some sort of employment or bring money in, right? It's impacting your luck. There's a wonderful sense now when Neptune transits sextile moon. There's a wonderful sense of peace surrounding you during the course of this transit. You are more open and accepting on an emotional level. This emotional serenity, although subtle, helps you solve problems naturally and intuitively. Excuse me. Your dream life is richer than usual, and your imagination is boundless. Um, so it goes on to talk about the negatives and the positive potentials, right? Um, check out cafeastrology.com Neptune transit, and it starts to break down. There's several pages of that. Even talks about your Mercury. So they'll go into different planets and how it opposes them, conjuncts them, transits to whatever. It gives you an idea, and it'll, when you look at your chart and you look at your current transit, it will tell you this is what you going through right now. And you just flip down to this and say, okay, wait a minute now, am I having problems in this part, or am I more in serenity? Am my dreams more impactful, prolific, and prophetic? You know what I'm saying? But it's all going to lead you back to a spiritual awakening, breaking things down for you so that you can build yourself up. Let me see. Like, I don't know what a trine is, but it's here. So if you see that on your chart, and I would suggest there's a couple apps you could check out. And what do I use? I use Astrology Zone for general horoscopes, but for Astro Matrix is good. Astro Future is okay. Where's the other one? I feel like I'm. Oh, the pattern is better than it was. Some people like time passages. I have it, but I don't really use that. You just got an order for Shawnee. It gave me my transit offer. Oh, I don't know what that is. That must be. Is that an app? But these transits are important to your spiritual development in the here and now. And I really urge, if anybody been resonating with some of this energy that's been coming out in the readings about how the divine masculine feels and how the divine feminine feel, and the fact that that divine masculine energy is so delayed compared to that divine feminine, this is something you might want to look into, because you may have had these experiences already. They may have impacted you. You may still be going through some of it, right? But it's time for you to look deeper into your scope. It's deeper into who you are and how things are impacting you. Astrology, to me, is a weather map. It doesn't tell you this is exactly what's going to happen to you, but it gives you a kind of guideline to let you know, wait, take your umbrella out today because you could be experiencing this. Don't forget your galoshes and your raincoat, because it's going to be some heavy thunder showers. You understand? Or it's going to be super cold and it's going to be snowy, or it's going to be beautiful outside today. Go outside and enjoy it. And I don't know, when this is going to make me look deeper. Um, Now that I know it's more of a breakdown, I'm about to use this cafe astrology to break down my own chart and see what Neptune is impacting me. Because I did look it up, but on some of those apps is really basic. This to me is more thorough. So now I gotta look at my transits. But yeah, so I just wanted to come on and kick it with y'all about these transits, because how they impact us, girl, guys, ladies, whoever, is serious business. And I really think that this is something we should care to look into. It'll help you, it being a weather mat, it helps you navigate some things, especially like when you know some of the basic stuff like Mercury retrograde. It'll cause confusion with communication. It's not a good time to sign contracts. It's the energy of, well, like I said, bad communication. So what you think is up may be down, and you think is down might be up. You don't really know. Don't buy electronics around that time. Why? Because they tend to mess up. I'm having electronic issues. I'm in the shadow period already of this Mercury retrograde. It's usually 2 weeks before. Years ago, I didn't know that. Now I see it, and sometimes I feel the effects. And right now, like earlier, I was saying I recorded a whole video and couldn't hear nothing on the audio, but I could do a live. So I was like, what the hell happened? Nothing. Nothing I did was different. So, it's that Mercury retrograde. I got to now work through the kinks. I got to figure out what the problem is so that I can smooth it out going on into the future. But, knowing that knowing that it's Mercury retrograde helps navigation. Ooh, shit. Helps you navigate life with that in mind so that you can make better decisions about your life. So this was your Neptune transit conversation. Thank you for coming to the channel. Thank you for participating and communicating with me, Monica, and Tuesday. Um, yeah, but take this into consideration. Look up your transits and then go to cafeastrology.com / Neptune transits and see what your scope is talking about and what you're experiencing right now. It could give you a ton of answers so that you can see clearer and navigate better and come out of the delusion of things and be on the other side. All right. So I want to thank y'all again. I'll be back on tomorrow night, and I'll have a reading. I'll work on having a reading for y'all in the morning. But check out the reading I just did. Talks a lot about what we just talked about, but it's a reading, right? It's not just the Neptune energy. Thank you for coming to the channel, y'all, and peace.